Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. It's all about financial counseling. And yes, we're here with the guru himself, the CEO of Financial Counseling Center located in the Mid-Wilshire area there in Los Angeles. Talking today to Michael Angel Dilella about the work he does, debt consolidation, and so much more to help you resolve, to help with bankruptcy, and to resolve those financial issues with his coaching. He's here to help and to serve. Welcome back. How are you today?
Very well. Thank you again for allowing us to share some of our information to the public to understand what we're able to do for them.
Beautiful. And it's financialcounselingcenter.com. Is there a phone number you want to share as well?
Financialcounselingcenter.com. Phone number, direct contact with me would be 323 area code 919-2874.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. Looking forward to speaking with you today. Tell us a little overview about what you do, and we're excited to get started.
Absolutely. We've been in business for over 30 plus years. I am originally an administrator at heart. We began administrating attorneys in Los Angeles County for many, many years ago. And I created a consulting firm in the 1990s in regards to basically debt resolution, debt negotiation, bankruptcy practice, and filing. And all the things that happen when people get into a particular financial situation, and we share with them as much as we can with our experience to make sure they understand their options. We do this for free. It's a free community service 6 days a week. 50% of my time is spent on educating people over the phone or in person without charging anything, just to gain some trust from our community and to let them know what's available, to make sure they know what they're doing.
Oh, great. Well, there's a lot that you offer with debt settlement. I know we're going to talk about consolidation today. There's a lot people deal with, right? Collections, with lawsuits, bankruptcy, and it's so confusing to so much. And I know you love educating the public. So what did you want to start off with today?
Yes. So let's touch bases with debt consolidation programs that people that are already not necessarily struggling with debt, not necessarily behind on debt, but once you get to a certain amount of money that you owe, the algorithms and their marketing side will pick up the fact that perhaps you're in need of some other service to reorganize or consolidate your debts. Unfortunately, these are third-party companies that are usually established outside of our state, which you lose basically any right to contest or fight them if something goes wrong. And they promote a 3 to 4 year program where you send money to them every single month and through an auto deduction from your checking account, obviously. And they promise you that they're going to resolve your debts within a specific amount of time and not to worry about anything. Unfortunately, if you read the contracts carefully, you will find that they have a 25+% fee on the money that you are going to put down. Let's give you an example. If you owe $30,000, their fee is going to be $7,500 at the end of the day. But unfortunately, when you start the program, they tell you it's only going to be $40, $50 a month. Don't worry about it. We'll settle the debt. We'll lower your balances. We'll stop the interest and all these things. Unfortunately, all they do is send generic letters to your creditors. And once they go into collections, they will pay maybe 1, 2 smaller accounts that you have. And maybe a year and a half later, if you paid them $500 a month, you're up to like $4,000 or $5,000 in fees that you've paid them. And all of a sudden you get a lawsuit, or you get served, or you realize that your FICO score is down to like 550, and collections are everywhere. And when you challenge them on this and you tell them, like, this is not working out for me, you're not paying off my debt, and I'm giving you a whole bunch of money, they'll refer to, they'll go, sir, did you read page 11 of 24 of your contract? We're not responsible for breach of contract, strict liability, or negligence, which simply means that if you quit us right now, we collect our fee, and all the money you paid us for the whole year, we're going to keep it.
Unbelievable.
And nobody gets paid.
Unbelievable.
And you're like, what the hell? Now, are some exceptions to the rule. Some companies may have different methods that may not be drastic, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're trapping yourself into these type of plans where I do the same thing. I do deconsolidation with the $30,000, let's say 5, 6 creditors. The difference is that we don't collect money from you. We charge you a flat fee for consulting fees. And whenever we're ready to negotiate and settle the debt, we concur with you. We exchange options. We keep on pushing back on them to get the best possible deal. Once we all agree on a payment plan or a lump sum settlement, that is when we are going to accept it. You start paying them directly. Everybody's happy. Nothing else happens. You don't get sued. Everybody understands what's going on. And that's a personalized service that we have with our clients.
Got it. Amazing.
In regards to debt consolidation, yeah.
Wow. And again, you're working with clients in the Los Angeles, California area, correct?
Los Angeles County, last I checked, has 88 cities, 10.5+ million people. So obviously, as a small family business, we have enough with LA County. But in California, as you know, people like to drive long distances. So it's not unusual that we get someone from other counties as well. But LA County is our basic business community, correct?
Got it. All right. Thank you for sharing that. What else did you want to enlighten your listeners with today? Clearly, you're educating so many of us. And I just had a personal question, if you don't mind, about, people apply. Like I recently applied to open up a new bank account because it had a really high interest rate, right, for savings. And I learned about this. It's called Lending Club. So I applied and I got denied. I called the company. They can't tell me why. They said, just apply again. I applied again. I got denied. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And are they pulling my credit? Should I not have applied for this just to open a bank account? I'm worried now how that affects things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have hidden debt? I don't know. How do people like myself, consumers, check their credit themselves, to make sure things are okay? Because I'm a little concerned now.
It's an excellent question. So the primary website that you want to go through, which is referred to us by the federal court system here in the Central District, is annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
Annualcreditreport.com. And make sure that you go to the home page, because when you look it up, unless you work with them every day, it will not come up on your browser at the beginning, and you have to go down about 6, 7 websites to get to the right one.
Got it.
Once you go there, you have the option to get Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can save it on your desktop. You need to save it. Otherwise, if you get out of it, it takes you a whole week to be able to get another one. But it's a free credit report. It's a soft inquiry. And Equifax, in our opinion, has the best, friendliest history that you can look at and figure out exactly what you just mentioned. Maybe you have a late payment. Maybe you have a small collections that you forgot about that they're still reporting on your credit.
Yeah.
Even a $200-300 balance on an uncollected debt will obviously have these consequences, correct?
Oh my God. And this now, by going to that website, again, that's annualcreditreport.com, just curious, does it pull your credit? Does that affect your credit that you're checking in on your credit?
Not at all. It's called a soft inquiry.
Yeah.
And anytime you do it on your own, that is a fear factor that a lot of people have, which is silly, but it is what it is. And you can do it every week, and it will not affect your credit whatsoever. And that is a tool to check it out. Now, we do offer a service based on our free consultations where you can call me, give me your email. I'll give you my email, and you can send me the credit report. And as a courtesy, I will analyze it for you and pinpoint things that have come up in our experience that you should be taking a look at.
Got it. All right. Good to know. Thank you for that. And also, what else did you want to share for today?
The second thing that most people are very confused with is credit repair.
Ah, perfect.
Credit repair as an industry and the methods of having a credit repair option are extremely limited because, again, in our opinion, in dealing with the banks for so many years, collection agencies and attorneys, they don't really make mistakes.
Yeah.
They don't really have a late payment on you, and then somehow you're going to prove that you made it on time. I have yet to see that in 25 years. So to say that there's a credit repair business that deletes, boosts, or removes things from your credit is, it's not quite what it looks like. And what happens, unfortunately, people pay some of these companies every month, in particular, because of AI and the artificial intelligence and the algorithms of the credit system right now. They pick up every time you're trying to do something outside of the norm, which means that if you try to delete things, you try to dispute things, yet they're supposed to be there, the banking system has the ability to remember that in the future when you're trying to rebuild credit. So the best thing you can do regarding credit repair is closure with your debts. You can have closure with a bankruptcy Chapter 7 and get a discharge, rebuild your credit within 2 years. You can have closure by paying off bad debt, and once it's settled, it'll be reported accordingly, and that is when the banks will pick up on that and build your credit if the usage that you have moving forward is properly established, meaning if you have payments on time, if you maybe leave 30% balance on your available credit so the banks can make a little money and you can still contribute to the account. Yeah, you don't owe too much. You're not stressed out with your debt. If you show these things and use some of your accounts as a checking account, which is what they suggest, then within 6 months to a year, your FICO score should continue to go up little by little, or however it does it, but it will improve moving forward. So again, credit repair to us is based on closure, not on removal or disputing. So that is, the credit repair business in that sense is kind of on its way out, because the Superior Court in California, I believe 6, 7, 8 months ago, they went after a few of the big credit repair companies and have a judge, like a 3.2 billion judgment against them, and they're almost are going to be thrown out of business. So that's the credit repair, and this is how you can understand now when people come to me and they tell me what's going on. We draw from all of this to give you information that will help your particular situation. That is what we specialize in, and that will be that for credit repair at this point. And lastly, which is probably the most, I would say, feared process that we have, bankruptcy Chapter 7.
Okay.
Even though the laws were ratified back in 1800, even Abraham Lincoln filed bankruptcy in 1833, you still have that fear that if you file bankruptcy, you're not going to be able to get up on your feet or get ahead, when actually the purpose of bankruptcy for over 100 years has been exactly the opposite.
Wow.
It's to give you an opportunity to clean up your unsecured debt and to be able to move forward to rebuild your credit, which in essence will benefit not only the court system, because they don't have to deal with collections, lawsuits, judgments, keeping a file open for years because you're not taking care of it. It benefits the consumer market, the financial products out there from all major banks, because now they have closure with your account, and you, as you rebuild your credit, they will look at you as a potential new client in the future. So even if JP Morgan collects $25 from you a month after you file a bankruptcy, when you receive maybe a $500 credit card a few months later, 10 million people, they make $3 billion a year. And that's only about 3% of the people who pay credit cards on average every day in this country, which is over 270 million people. So the question is, it takes very little for the creditors to actually want to go back at you to rebuild your credit. That is why when you file bankruptcy, the idea that you're not going to have credit or be denied credit is actually not true. It doesn't work that way, especially for the banking system. If you look up, for example, and you Google how long does it take to buy a house after bankruptcy, it's 2 to 4 years.
Wow.
It's not 7 or 10. So why is that the case? Well, since we graduate from high school, we are told that credit is everything. And without it, we can't function, which is not necessarily true. And we are disallowed from saving money, so we don't have to depend on credit. And we continue to build our FICO score 10, 12 years later. We owe a certain amount of money. It's hard to pay it back. And that's when people call me and go, hey, Mikey, I've been paying interest for 7, 8 years. My balances stay the same. It's like a yo-yo effect. I pay down, it goes up. I pay down, it goes up. Christmas comes up. So an emergency comes up in my family, and I just can't get out of it, which is obvious. It's the consumer market is kind of stuck with this unless you plan a different strategy for yourself early on in your life, where if you start saving money so you don't depend on credit and take a sandwich to work so you can save tens of thousands of dollars in 10 years in lunches, then how are we expected to get ahead, right?
Totally.
So by financial point of view, we create a financial coaching type of scenario for you based on your circumstances, which can help you maybe support you in the future, how you want to manage certain things. But as far as the bankruptcy and filing the case and everything else, if you have to do it, if you see there's no way out of you paying your debts anytime sooner, it's not a horrible thing to look into, definitely. And it is something that can be extremely useful for people.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. We are on a roll. Remind us how we can contact you before we continue.
No problem. So you can contact me through Yelp and check out our reviews, amazing reviews that we have. So you can go through Yelp and directly communicate so we can, text each other through Yelp at one point or the other to initiate the conversation. Second thing you can do is to go to www.financialcounselingcenter.com and initiate either a meeting, a phone meeting, or call us directly in order to assess your case or create a meeting for personal meeting, a phone meeting for you, and we can go from there that way. And that will be the easiest way to reach out to us. My direct number, business number that's hooked up to our IP system is 323-919-2874. I tell people you're free to leave a text and message with the best time to call you back, and I will certainly reach out to you and try to answer all your questions.
Perfect. All right. We still have 9 minutes left in the show. I'm not cutting you short. Just want to remind people that are tuning in midway where we are and who we are. What else do you want our listeners to be aware of?
Sure. Obviously, since COVID, the world changed in many ways, and the financial markets changed. Our economy has changed. It's still suffering at some levels with the high interest rates and inflation and everything that most Americans are going through right now. And obviously, through the CARE Act and through the special programs and emergency orders that were signed by either California or the federal government to assist people with the rent payments, with maybe some kind of a plan to stop having to pay your student loans, which happened for 2 to 3, 4 years. Any type of help that we got, extensions on our unemployment, checks we received from the government. Then we had the PPP loans, which were loans for
I remember
people,
those. Yep.
for the payroll. Then we have SBA loans that typically prior to COVID, you kind of needed a house to leverage the loan in order to have a lien against the house, and that's how the government would help you out. But after COVID, no, it was like 300,000, no problem. Business, what have you. So what's happening now is that all that is catching up, and people I see as a whole are still somewhat waiting for something to happen with the government at some level. Will they maybe get more help with all of that? And until recently, as you know, the administration tried to give some forgiveness programs away for student loans, but they were not very successful because the Supreme Court said, nah, we can't really allow for that at this point. It has to be, done in a different way. So what I have now is a stress factor by the community that I've never seen before. The stress factor also comes from not having money to pay for an attorney to file a bankruptcy. They don't have money to pay their retainer. So if I charge an average of $1,500 per case, people now are saying, well, can I pay $100 to start? Where like 2-3 years ago, they would come up with most of the money or borrow the money so they can go ahead and file.
Yeah.
And that is creating a mental health issue.
Wow.
Because it's creating problems in relationships, themselves, in therapy, many other things that are creating this problem. And I'm faced with that every single day. So I become like a big brother, a support system, a mentor to people, because we're trying to give them peace of mind through the information that we give them. It's not so much that we're selling them a service or we're trying to get paid for something, but we believe that by giving the right information, people will go home and have a much better time trying to figure this out for themselves than if they didn't have me, So it's one of those things. So that means that lately we've had 50% of the clients that we take care of are not necessarily paying clients. They just want some support, which we happen to have the luxury to have my time available, especially to do that. And that's part of our service and why we have in the front of Yelp over 265-star reviews, because people really feel the support, the love, the time, the patience. Because as you know, most professional people are very busy. Nobody has time for anybody. They're not going to pay a retainer. They're not going to give you the time. So we are trying to do the opposite for people.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. I love it. Well, you're very helpful, and I love that you're here to educate and to really help that person out there that may be struggling. And it takes just a phone call, right? They can reach you at the office. Go to the website. Again, want to remind them, financialcounselingcenter.com. And I love that you're a family-owned business, right? And you grew up in this, right? Your whole family's involved.
Well, my wife and I, 17 years, working 6 days a week together. We're right next to each other. And we're definitely, our staff attorneys on my payroll are like my brothers. I hired them over 30 years ago, and they're still with us. So we definitely survived COVID. It wasn't easy. We're still here. We're still, trying to check each other every single way, every day, trying to learn and get better at what we do. And that's because we have no politics in our business, because it's a family business. We're all supporting each other all the time. So all these things come together very well to be able to help people in the proper way,
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. And any advice? We got the holidays coming up. A lot of people start charging using that credit card. What would you say to someone, dealing with this?
Well, choose your battles properly, and basically, trying to budget yourself through Christmas, especially people that you love and that you want to really impress, may be a really hard thing to do. But just understand that everybody's going through a lot right now, and even a small present, even just a card, just a phone call, may actually make the difference, rather than to have to go out and buy something for somebody, especially in these times. Obviously, if you have the money and you don't have any of these problems, this conversation is over and we're not talking to you. But for most people, they go paycheck to paycheck and they're trying to raise a family and things are hard. Just try to be as frugal as possible and get to next year, and hopefully things will get better soon, and we all hope for the best.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And one more time, how we contact you?
Sure. You can contact Michael Dilella, Dilella, at financialcounselingcenter.com, or directly at 323-919-2874. And again, it's okay to leave a text or message, and I will reach out to you as soon as I can to discuss your particular case.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Looking forward to speaking with you again. Always a pleasure having you here, and I'll see you on the next Zoom, right?
You got it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.